Hello again and welcome to part 2 of The Spidering. So in the previous episode of The Spidering, I drew a side-on view of a giant wolf spider. Now it's time to try and turn the side-on view into an actual in-game creature. So I'm going to sort of build up bit by bit. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, just put them on chat and I'll be able to answer you. But for now, let's just get started. Okay. So here's our spider. And we want to start turning that friendly spider monster into the terrible creature that stalks around and kills people. So I'm actually going to do this creature as 2 modules rather than 1. And the reason for this is that I want to be able to give it 2 weapons. There's no way of attaching more than 1 weapon to a module. So the body, head and thorax, and the abdomen are going to be 2 separate modules that then just get glued together. Okay, so let's start out by doing the body module. And to do that, I'm basically just going to derive from the closest module type which I have to that which is actually spider legs, which unsurprisingly are quite similar to spiders. So let's take the spider legs data and just call it wolf spider thorax. Beautiful name, I think. And yes, technically it's a lancet. Okay. So let's get started. Gonna make it this big, I think. So it's gonna be 4 times 4 units. But then the appearance, hopefully, I think I can offset that. The appearance is actually going to be significantly bigger. Like that. So the X is 8. The Y is 50. The width is 7 and the height is 5, and then I need to offset this, which I think I can do. Let's just also call up the giant squid or whatever it is. Well, the dead squid doesn't really matter. Right, its appearance and external appearances, of course. So for the appearance, I'm just going to do this slightly wrong, and then for the external appearances, so that's just going to be an X of 11, a Y of 50, and a width and height of 4. Later I might also do like some internal spider guts, which will look cooler when it dies. And then with the external appearances, which is what you'll actually see. I can now offset things, so it's X minus 3 and Y of 0. And the actual appearance is this. I believe that's the right way around, yeah. And of course the source is actually monsters 2. Okay, so good start. Next up, hit points will leave Fire hit points are set to 0. It's rare that spiders catch fire, so let's not have that for now. Yeah, and then there's a whole bunch of things here, so we want to set destroyed HP to 0, which just means that it doesn't get damaged. It just the moment it functions right until it hits 0 HP, at which point it dies. And we want these things. So it draws correctly. And we don't want it to have generic destruction fragments, so it won't like emit bits of wood and pipe and so on when it dies, because that would be wrong. And yes, indeed, we don't want it to have a propulsion or lift sound. It doesn't cost anything as such. It doesn't require coal. It doesn't require crew. You can't occupy it anyway. There's no internals to the spiders. I've already done external appearances. There's no emitters. There's no lights, but there are legs. And we also need to set a command value, because otherwise it's not going to be capable of actually moving around. Okay, what else? There might be some other switches. Ah yes, counts as active crew, that's important. Because otherwise, because there's no crew inside the spider, the game will go, oh, this ship is uncrewed, and we'll go, well, it's lost then. But of course it doesn't need crew. I always said that the presence of that module counts as if it was active crew. Okay, now for the legs. Right, so let's get started. Where are we actually attaching the legs? It is a set of 4 legs that I guess go roughly here. So the first set of legs is an x offset of 0, I guess. And y offset of, well, let's also leave it at 0 for now. Then, as previously mentioned, the upper limb is 50 and the lower limb is 110. The width of the foot, which actually doesn't matter that much anymore, is that we can just figure out by looking at the picture. Like 2. Height of the foot is 0 because it doesn't really have a separate foot. The step length, well, given that it's a little smaller than the spider leg module, I guess we reduce the step length to like 45. We just keep the same max step time. And then the spring, again, we make probably a bit shorter and leave it with the same spring constant. This is stuff which will probably need about 1 billion iterations of adjusting. Okay, it doesn't have a foot graphic, which I think I can just leave out. It doesn't make sounds when it moves, but it does make a sound when it steps, but a very quiet one, I think, because it's a spider. It steps slightly. Okay, now finally we need to have the upper leg and the lower leg graphic. Okay, we need to get this right. Well, this is sticking out by 9 units apparently. Okay, like that. That's the upper leg. Then the lower leg, slightly better behaved. Yeah. 142, y of 167, width of 20, height of 10. Okay, so that's one of its legs is now correct. Now we just need to essentially adjust all the other legs to have mostly the same behavior. Actually, the only thing that changes is back and X offset. So I'm just going to copy this. Okay, so that's now the third leg that moves next. So that essentially has an X offset of 2, I think, logically speaking. Okay, yeah, and now here's the fourth leg. And here's the second leg. So the numbers are interleaved like this because otherwise the gate is weird. Okay, now we have the back legs. So again we start with the first back leg, then the third, then the fourth, then the second. Okay, purely in theory, we've now done all the boring kind of pasting and changing of numbers, and purely in theory, this should now produce a, I can see a bug, that needs a comma. Purely in theory, this should now produce an actual set of spidery legs. So let's see what it looks like in game. And then we can just sort of start adjusting things until it looks right and moves right and all of that sort of thing. There we go. So the first thing you actually need to do now, oh no, we can leave it out. So at some point we have to generate the static images, but we can ignore that for now. So let's just launch the game in debug mode so we can more easily adjust things if necessary. Oh, no. Oh, no, okay, apparently it really doesn't like the idea of not having a foot at all. Okay, we've learned a thing. Okay, the spider actually needs a foot. Well, let's just give him a foot. Yeah, let's just draw one. So just an itsy bitsy foot. Actually, no, it will look bad, I think. It even has one. So we're just gonna kind of put in a dummy foot graphic. So the foot comes from the same sprite sheet. It's in the top left. and it's exactly 1 pixel times 1 pixel. Ta-da! I mean, the cleanest thing to do would be to just not require a foot graphic, but this is easier right now. Okay, let's try it again. Getting this sort of thing to work at the start makes me feel like you've got some kind of recalcitrant old engine that's a bit too cold and you just have to keep on, you know, trying to actually get it to start. Hey, it launched! Okay. Let's see if we can see it in the editor. Let's see if it like instantly crashes the editor or whatever. Oh, I think I put it into propulsion. Did I? That's left. Okay, now I can't see it. It is a bit of a bad sign. Well. Yeah, okay, that didn't work. Oh, yeah, so that was entirely my fault. Of course, I need to make a land ship. I was in the airship editor, and that tends to not work very well. Okay. Design and fight land ship editor. There we go, module Wolf Spider Thorax. Here it is. Okay, so one immediate issue is, of course, that I forgot that some of the legs need to face the other way. But let's just save this for now as Spider Bro, and then we'll get into fixing that. Okay, so things that need fixing. Yeah, the big one's basically that the front two sets should be pointing forwards. They'll probably want to space them apart a bit more as well, but let's just start with the pointing forwards. So bend forwards, true. That should fix that. Then we can conveniently just go into settings, mods, and reload the game data without having to restart the game. Yeah, there we go. It's sitting somewhat awkwardly, but that's just because the legs are in a kind of a default position. Apart from that, not bad. So let's put it into combat. Let's see how it moves. And just give it a essentially inert enemy building. Okay, it still produces creaks, but apart from that, hey, look at that. That's pretty good spidering, I think. Huh? That looks sufficiently creepy, and it moves quite well. Yeah, that's definitely a reasonable source of complete terror to air sailors. Okay, I am pleased. I am highly pleased by this development. Okay, so note to self. Like, monsters shouldn't make creaking sounds when they move around because they're not made out of wood. Okay. Okay, so now we can do the spider abdomen, which is going to be, until I actually put in the like hook thing, is going to be the most boring module humanly possible. So, wolf spider abdomen. So we're going to take the most boring module possible, which is like a strut. Okay. I'll just put this stuff into the basic category. It doesn't really matter, huh? We'll hide all of the actual modules that can be placed behind, an unachievable thing anyway. Okay. So the abdomen is this bit here. And I guess again it wants to basically be 4 times 4. That's quite nice. There's a width of 4, height of 4. X of 2, y of some other thing. That's 49, I think. So just checking something here. Yeah, still streaming, good. 49 of 59. And here it's pretty similar, except for that the X is 1, the Y is still 49, the X offset is -1. There we go. The Y offset is 0. The width is a number generally known as 6. The height is a number generally known as 5. It has, I guess, much the same number of hit points as the thorax. Much the same weight. Also doesn't cost anything. It also has some of these special flags enabled. That make it behave more like a monster and less like an airship component. Actually, that doesn't. You don't want that to count as active crew because if the body is destroyed, then it's dead, right? So that's probably literally it for the wolf spider abdomen for now. It's just a blob. So let's try it out if we can add it to the spider. No, because I made a mistake. A terrible mistake. There. And once we've got that working, Okay, it's just W and H maybe. Awkward. Once we've got that working, we still need to do the palps. Then we've got it all done from a visual point of view. And the next step would actually then be to make it, or to arm it with various hideous weapons. No, I just keep on making terrible mistakes. Does need a cost value, even if the cost is 0. Okay, I think this time. You can do it. Yep, okay. We are in BitsNet. So let's go back into the Landship editor and edit SpiderPro and add mod wolf spider abdomen. Which has a delightful case of complete and utter invisibility. So I clearly got the coordinates of the external appearance wrong. Oh, monsters 2. It should be monsters 2 and not sprite sheet. Right. I'll probably fix that by just reloading the data. Yes. Now the only mild issue is that it's far too close. So can we move the x coordinate back by 1 more? Okay, now it's doing a terrible and wrong thing. Because I only did it for 1 bit. Moment. Like that, I think. No, that made it worse. Now, surely. Yes. Oh yeah, it still looks a little glued together, and I'm wondering if maybe yeah, I think that's better. Still looks a little squashed, maybe. If we compare it to its original. Yeah, okay. I think I will need to redraw the abdomen slightly. I think the body needs to be a bit longer, and the abdomen needs to be a bit longer and bigger too. Well, let's give this a try. Yeah. Yeah, actually, it's not too bad. Okay, not bad. I think it wants to be able to move faster, Thor. So let's give our good wolf spider thorax friend some extra propulsion strength. Let's just put it up to 10. Yeah, absolutely. It certainly should be able to move that fast. Good stuff, huh? I am pleased. Okay, so let's put in the palps. I think the hull actually looks fine. It doesn't actually need a adjustment. Hi, hi. Lovely spider. Okay, so let's see if I can put in the palps as an external appearance. I kind of didn't really offset them very cleanly, so they might need to be moved around a bit, but let's see how far we can get. Where are they? Here. Palps. Okay. This basically involves adding an external appearance to wolf spider thorax. With an X of, I think, 3. The Y of maybe 2. And then we need a multi-frame appearance. I'm not quite sure how quickly these should move. So let's just pick a number. Let's just say about a second in between frames. Then frames are x16, y again that 49, width of 3, height of 3. That's one frame. The second frame is, I think, just basically the 3 times 3 below it, so much the same, but with a y of 52. There we go. Okay, we ought to be able to just reload the data and see the changes. It looks really bad and stupid, but you know, apart from that minor issue, Okay, one problem is that it should really be drawing it below. So, herb. Which I can do, I think, by just changing the order. Then the second problem, the problem that the sort of root of it isn't in the same place, that I have to change. Okay, so it should be approximately at 8 to 11. Something like that, so. Oh, I did the wrong thing. Oh. Okay, the shading's going to be all off, but we'll just ignore that tiny detail for now and just re-export this as is. Not quite sure if we can fix that by reloading the data, but let's try. Yeah, it's now a lot better, I think, once the lighting is fixed. And I think in practice it wants to go left a little bit more and it wants to animate more slowly. Okay, we can do those things. Now we need to actually adjust the bump, which is now completely wrong. Something like that, I think. So again, export this as monsters 2. Export this thing as monsters 2 bump. And then involve Spider Thorax. decrease that interval, and we're basically good. Okay, so one more thing which I want to add just before we wrap this up is I want to give it at least like a basic weapon, which is I'm going to give it the ability to like spit acid. And to do that, we first and foremost actually need a picture of the acid, which I'm going to put into the main sprite sheet, because that's where all the other shot graphics come from, so it's going to be actually cleaner and faster. Okay. So here we are in the primary sprite sheet. Let's find where some of the other projectile graphics are. Somewhere, honest. They exist. Those old barrels. Those are things people carry. Ah, here's some projectile graphics, yeah. Okay, so let's put it there. Color-wise, I guess, basically make it a grass green splot. Yeah, something like that. That actually also needs a bump map, believe it or not. Because even the shock graphics are lit up these days, so. But I want a pretty uneven one. There we go. And I guess we want to make it shiny. Well, some of it shiny. Why not? Just complete randomness. There we go. Okay. So that's our spit here, our acid spit. I know, dear watchers, spiders do not actually fire acid spit. This is not, I believe, a thing they ever do. But artistic license, fantasy, giving it a weapon that actually works. So yeah, gonna go with that. Sprite sheet and sprite sheet bump. Okay. So now we need to actually set up this weapon. Okay. So again, let's just grab the closest sort of weapon to what it is, and really it's just like a cannon or something. So we're just going to grab the information for cannons. So what do we need to make the thorax a weapon? Well, Unsurprisingly, it needs is weapon, true. Then it's not really a gun or a cannon as such. It needs a reload time, which I'll make relatively long, I think. I think if I don't set the value for clip, it won't need ammunition, so that's good. We'll give it basically the same inaccuracy. Yeah, so this is all this information that we need essentially. So let's just grab it. Same inaccuracy as a cannon. Does say 70 points of blast damage. Doesn't really do recoil. Has 100-degree forward fire arc. Doesn't have a firing sound. Honest. Doesn't explode. Honest. Doesn't have a barrel or a recoil. The muzzle center, well, okay. Sort of where the spider's mouth would be. So I guess roughly there. Like 3.6 versus 3. Muzzle length is 0. The actual weapon appearance. It's really wrong to call that appearance actually, because it's not an appearance in the classic sense, but hey. 129, 305, 11, 5. There we go. I think that's all we actually need. We'll see if it launches with that information. But now it should be able to spit acid as well. So the spider basically has something that is... Let's give it a bit less of a reload. Let's give it 5,000. So the spider has something that's sort of akin in firepower to one heavy cannon. Let's see if we got the data right. Probably. No. We made a mistake. We almost certainly just forgot a comma somewhere. Yes. No, it complains it has no ammunition. But I'm pretty certain you can have ammo-less weapons because the saw blade has no ammo. Did I forget to set the clip to 0? Ah, no, it's just not set because I need to yeah. The clip defaults to 1, so if I set it to 0 explicitly, Yeah, it's no longer complaining about anything. Yeah, okay, it does a number of things wrong, but can we see that in slow motion, please? That looks like I'm gonna have to put in some more flags to like prevent weird stuff like smoke. But yeah, look, here's our little splort of acid. Yeah. Okay, so that works. Needs adjustment and whatnot, but it works. Ah, quarter speed, that's why everything's so slow. Okay, so one thing we can definitely do just to make it not that we can change the shot speed and it won't have that trail, which I think looks a bit wrong for the acid. So if we go to having something like a grenade-like shot speed, I'm pretty sure that grenades also don't produce smoke, so I should be able to steal the magic of smokeless firing from them. Oh yes, just set muzzle flash to false. Make it a little faster, maybe 0.3 or something. I'm going to decrease the optimum range significantly, given the shot's now really slow. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I think that's better. I think it's a bit too slow. Yeah, it's fine. It's not as destructive as I'd like it to be, so I think I'll probably increase the fire rate quite dramatically, but make it less accurate. But yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing to do. So let's change this quite significantly. Let's give it a reload of 1800, but probably only a damage of 50. Okay, what's the... This is unfortunately hard-coded, I don't know what it gets as well, it's just dependent on the shot speed. Oh yeah, okay, 0.5. So let's give it 0.45. So speed, it's increased in accuracy quite significantly though, so it really wants to go up pretty close. There we go. the reason why we can put the inaccuracy so high is that the other thing, which it's going to have once I've implemented that properly, it's going to have a tether it can launch from its back, and so when it needs to kill an airship, it just fires the rather accurate tether from its back, it reels in the airship, and then blasts it to bits with its face. So, yeah. Let's just see what that looks like now. Yeah, I mean, it feels not quite good enough yet. I think one thing it really needs to have, which you can put in, is just a trail of kind of poison particles. But in terms of actual damage caused, it's now quite wonderfully painful once it's at close range. That's probably even too much. But yeah, generally pretty neat, I gotta say. Okay, I think this concludes this particular stream. From now on, you've seen the basic thing, it now works. So now there's just going to be quite a lot of fiddling and balancing and adding little details, like for example, the spit attack doesn't have an audio yet and things like that. So I'll be adding that, and I'll probably show off the final product on stream at some point as well.